Hey, good morning. You having a good time so far? You pleased to be here? Excellent. We had a fantastic time yesterday. CCP took us out and we had the most fun I think I've ever had at a customer event. I'm here with Level 3 Communications. We're a provider of connectivity to CCP, and as well as providing the connectivity for EVE Online, we're using our content distribution network to actually stream this event. So this is a hugely exciting situation for us. Not only do we get to come out and meet customers, see you folks, but we actually get to be here with EVE as well. So this is really great. So I mean, already I think we've been here for like less than an hour, and the buzz is tremendous. So you guys need to give yourselves a hand to start with. So I'm not going to keep you very long, because the last thing you guys want to have is a long presentation from a telecommunications provider. I can sit and talk to you about fiber in the ground, and we can talk about different products and services and rate cards and all different kinds of things. Or we can get into the murky territory of network neutrality and we can all have a big fight or something. But I don't think that's really what you're here for, so we keep it quite short. I think the main things to talk about today from Level 3's point of view is you guys are kind of like the canary in the mine. When it comes to internet users, there is nobody more demanding, there is nobody more quality sensitive than a gamer. And we spent so much time yesterday when we were out with the folks from CCP talking about the things that matter most to you guys. And the thing that we just came across time and time again was latency, latency, latency. And we know that for just about any game that's out there today, latency is a really big issue. And this is one of the reasons that we're working together with CCP. Level 3 has spent the last few years building up the content distribution network part of our business to complement the internet backbone that we've built over the last decade plus. And what this provides is it provides a really great foundation for the connectivity, for the user experience, and for the low latency gaming experience that you guys are really demanding and that you're here to enjoy this weekend. We've been working together for quite a long time, and in every one of your bags you'll see a little case study about the work that we're doing together with CCP. And you know, I hope you have time to have a read of this, and I hope you find it interesting. I think one of the things that's most exciting about the work that we're doing this weekend is the streaming event. And this is something which we've been streaming video content for a long time, but especially when you have an event like Fanfest, this is remarkable, because what this basically means is, although you folks have traveled from all corners of the world to be here, all of your friends, all your buddies that couldn't be here, they can still share the experience. And there's an HD video stream which is out there so everybody can enjoy Fanfest. And this is one of the things that the Level 3 content distribution network enables. And so we're really proud. And this is just, this is for us the culmination of the work that we do. And I know folks back in the office are tuning in on the stream. This is something which we have many EVE gamers within our own business. And you know, I have to say, it's just a hugely exciting event. So thank you very much for CCP for allowing us to be here. I hope you guys have the most tremendous weekend. I think it's going to be an amazing event. And yeah, thanks. Hands for you guys. We have a few minutes. If you want to take maybe a couple of questions, if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, if you want to get straight to the meat of the matter and the gameplay, then that's also very easily understood. Any questions on the audience? Fantastic, I get off lightly. All that remains then is to say thank you very much. Thank you very much to CCP. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. You're using our services. We hope you enjoy our services. We have a question.
Yeah. How many people are watching have ordered before the streaming event? Do you know that?
I don't have numbers. I can find that out, and we can distribute that information. Yeah, that would be pretty good. I know from past events, we were talking with a couple of the guys. We were talking with James from the dev team here at CCP. The numbers we were talking about were around 20,000 concurrent streams based on previous events, but we can come back with some numbers for you there. Yeah, okay? Perfect. Cheers, guys. Enjoy the event. Oh, one final thing. We do have flying monkeys, so there's a big pile of monkeys there. If you folks want to grab some. These things scream. They will irritate the hell out of your friends and family. There's a big pile down there. Feel free to help yourself.
So, this is the right way to do it?
Yeah.
Good morning, players. My name is Skindu. I run Battle Clinic. I blew my voice out yesterday, yelling and screaming at you guys to take beer koozies from the Battle Clinic booth. I hope you got those. Come by and get a beer koozie from me. Better than mouse pads like I did last time, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you 2 seconds on a underused, but I hope someday to be overappreciated section of Battle Clinic that few players seem to be daring to tread yet is probably the most useful section for EVE, short of a couple of my other cool fan site friends that are out there, like I'll give props to EVE Survival and EVE Universe and a few of those guys, EVE University, that do a great job with their stuff, the EVE University Wiki. But resolution be damned, this is the tools page for EVE Online. We've collected over the years a number of tools that are available to you guys, all for free. Battle Clinic is all about the community. We do nothing if not for the community. So everything we do, whether you buy an ETC from us over at Deep Space Supply, or whether you come and use the kill boards, or you come and use the loadouts, anything you do, anything that we do for you is all for the community's benefit. Every time you buy a GTC, ETC from us, every single dollar goes back into building more tools that help you play the game and helps you fight smart, which is our tagline. The one tool that I want to talk a little bit about that I think is really cool and I'd like to give a little press to is we have a new gang loadout creator. And because I'm not logged in, you can't see it. But the gang loadout creator allows you, how many of you understand and have seen our ship loadouts for Battle Clinic and used them? Outstanding. So I'm going to preempt one question ahead of time and say, a lot of people email me and go on our forums and they flame me because they say, flame us because they say, you know, you have a lot of fits that are shit fits out there. And I agree with you. My response is, the only way you know a good fit is if you look at the fit and then you read the conversation about the context, how the fit is supposed to be used. So, although I think the fit itself and our library of fits that grows every day is really good, and I think there's a lot of value in just the fit itself, there is no single, and I hope you guys agree, no single one I win fit for a ship. It depends on the role. It depends on what you want to do with that ship and how you want to fly it. And the only way you can really know that role and know what the author's fit was intended to solve and do is to participate in the conversation below the loadout. So I think that's the richest part of our loadout library is not so much the fit, but the comments and the questions. And I invite you to come and add your voice to that mix. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear all about the fits. We want to hear all about that. And the gang loadout tool will allow you now to take groups of loadout, individual ship loadouts, and group them together into a gang loadout. So if you're a 5-man merc corp, and you guys want to dictate how each ship should fly, you can assemble that gang into a gang loadout and distribute that out. Coming soon, and by the way, we have Mr. Q here who handles all the coding for Battle Clinic. So please, a big round of Mr. Q for handling all the, say hi. He doesn't know this yet, but he's going to be creating a section where we're going to do this privately. So you'll have private gang loadouts that only you and your registered members of Battle Clinic that you want will be able to see. So that should help you with a little security if you want to use that to distribute out. Okay, that's my pitch on gang loadouts. Let's take questions. What questions can I answer for you? Yeah.
This gang loadout thing,
yes.
Private sort of people who want to see your setup, is that going to be integrated with EveGate?
So the question is the private gang loadout going to be integrated with EveGate? We are investigating how that's going to work, yes. If CCP can get the API to work properly with us. Yes?
Possibly be screwed somehow into the game. So let's say you have a whole section
For obvious reasons, we can't inject into the client, or we can't inject into the into the stream. So the only way that you would be able to get gang loadouts in game would be through the IGB. What we are going to be doing is working on both a mobile and an IGB compatible site for the gang and for the ship loadouts that'll be a lot lighter for you to load, so it won't lag as hard, and you'll be able to go IGB and get the loadouts that you need. Yes. What else, please? What do you want to know about kill boards? What do you want to know about loadouts? What do you want to know about my personal life? Yes, sir.
Hey, I know you guys have a lot of essentially weird mails in your Battle Clinic database. Well, copies and doubles.
Weird kill mails.
Copies, doubles, things that just aren't quite right for one reason or another that just happen to get in there over the years. What's your progress on cleaning those out? Because I know I've checked all the corps in my alliance. I can't for the life of me find out where about 300 billion in loss is coming from, because it's not showing up on any of our corps stats, but it's tagged there somehow. So
yeah, so we draw our kill mail library from a variety of sources, and this may come as a surprise to you guys here, players, but there's this thing called metagaming in EVE Online. I know. I was surprised too, and shocked. So last 2 Fanfests ago when I was here, I had somebody come up to me. I won't mention his name, but he's in the room. Everybody's looking around. And he walked up and he said, "Yeah, we wrote a fake kill mail generator to populate the Battle Clinic boards." Yeah. So we. You're not the guy, so you're a new one. So we actually take some pretty advanced steps to keep that crap out of our boards, but frankly, a little bit of that is okay, because we're not going to interfere with player metagaming if it's to mess with Battle Clinic's boards, but if it's to mess with other corps, fine. This is EVE. Everything short of murder is good. So I'm all for it. Go out and do all the propaganda, all the crazy stuff you have to do to win, to push the I win button in EVE. But when it comes to scraping our boards and killing our servers so that you can have a couple extra kill mares on your board, which is, by the way, why we did the login for kill mails. A lot of people don't like that they can only view a certain amount of kill mails at a time. We've relaxed that a lot. But we did that because we had people that were coming in and trying to scrape 6 million kill mails off our boards. And if anybody knows anything about servers, you know that just you just watch your bandwidth go like this, and nobody else can get on the sites. And we said we can't allow that, because come on, then anybody who's trying to look up a loadout, they get a page not found. It's not fair. So we had to place that. We've relaxed that somewhat. We have new strategies for dealing with those folks. To answer your question directly. We do our best to clean up. The onus is on the person disputing the kill mail. So if you believe that the kill mail is in error or infactual or fake, most of the time we and our moderators can see it right off. We can tell, right? 18 Titan BPOs? Yeah, right. In your cargo? Yeah, right. Okay, so gone. But if it's kind of questionable, we're going to have you sort of help us understand why it's a fake. The mail is where it's coming from. So, but invisible. Okay. Yeah, so the bottom line on that is ask for a recalculation, because we will put you into the recalculation queue, and we'll see if we can get your stats justified. But honestly, sometimes that's hard to find, and if you're a big alliance, we want to work with you. If you're a big corp, we want to work with you, and we'll try to figure it out. What else can I answer for you? Oh, okay. Thank you very much, guys. I've been kicked off the stage. I'll see you in a few.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I think it's afternoon. I cannot remember anymore. I give props to CCP. I do not know how you guys party till 4 a.m. for the last 2 days and still make it in here by 8 o'clock in the morning. That's just absolutely crazy. I'm from Boston. I can drink just like the rest of them. I cannot drink like an Icelander. I don't know. It's crazy. So I'm Will. I'm Director of Services for Vasco. We are an authentication company. I'm going to try and not bore the hell out of you guys. But, you know, I have a lot of kind of our company background and what we do. I'm technical, so if you guys have technical questions, I can answer them. I'm also going to try and, you know, just generalize everything. So Vasco's been around for a lot of years now, so most people know our competitors. They don't know Vasco, but, you know, we're publicly traded. You can find us all over the world. Our customers, so everybody, every board I've ever been to does not list Vasco. They're like, oh, it's this company over here that makes our tokens. That's not true. These companies up here all use Vasco and all use them as their token. So PayPal is a classic example of, they don't use Vasco tokens. Yes, they do. Blizzard, the Blizzard Authenticator, those are ours. All of these different companies up here use us. You're going to see more and more of these companies and more games as they start to roll them out coming up here. This floor is so squeaky. It's excellent. As we get into it, so our expertise, what we do is authentication. So if you need to authenticate something, whether it's your VPN or, you know, your game, your message boards, whatever it is, we can help you out. So a lot of the times people kind of look at authentication and they say, oh, well, two-factor. You know, everybody's got to carry a hardware token. No. We do mobile devices, we do hardware tokens, we do everything. On top of that, hardware tokens, when we look at hardware tokens versus mobile tokens, people are going with hardware tokens. It's crazy. We talk to our largest providers. Some of our providers have over 11 million devices out in the field, and they hands down say that when customers are asked to buy a token versus a free mobile token, they're going to buy the token. Now, whether that's because of the artwork on the token or, you know, collectability of the token, I really don't know. But the hardware tokens sell better than the mobile tokens do. We do a lot with fulfillment, so a lot of our companies ask, okay, well, how do you get the token out there? You know, a game company or a message board site doesn't want to be a token fulfillment company. They don't want to take hardware tokens. They don't want to have to distribute mobile tokens. They don't want to have to get them out there. So we partner with JVC. We get out there, we distribute the tokens for you, so we drop ship them wherever you need. So it's kind of a hand-holding exercise. And then you start to see them in the boxes too. So we see Square Enix that actually put their devices in their collector's edition boxes. So we're going to see more and more of that as we kind of get into it. When we look at everything as far as authentication, I know it was quick. I just want to kind of thank you guys for having me out here, and we'll go from there. So any questions on authentication or the devices themselves? Go ahead.
Are you guys going to do like cell phone authenticators for Eve?
That's up to Eve. We do have cell phone authenticators, so you know, the best thing about it is that they can mix and match. So if you guys have one device today and they decide to change the graphic, the logo, whatever, or even go to a whole different device, it's completely possible. So.
You set up your account for authentication.
That's a great question. It's a very typical question. It's actually up to even up to the different companies that implement it. What Vasco does is we provide a library on the back end, and the library, what it does is it basically just says yes or no to a one-time password. So if the token blows up or there's something that happens to it, the processes on how to replace those tokens, I have a bunch of ideas and I share them with anybody that'll listen. But in reality, it's up to Eve on how they want to replace it. Some examples we've seen, they do question and answer to remove the device, and then once the device has been removed, they'll come back and allow you to add a new one if you want to purchase a new one.
All Eve players have a lot of accounts. Can you use the same device for all the accounts?
Absolutely. So the question was, can you use the same device for all of your Eve accounts? Yesterday in the authentication forum up with Sean, the security forum, Sean announced that in beta, you guys will be able to attach one device to multiple accounts. So as many accounts as you want is what I was quoting him as saying. So, yeah.
What is the battery life?
Generally, the devices will last 7 to 10 years, and that's constantly playing with them. So I have a device that I've had since I joined the company in 2001. I literally press 500 times a day when I go out and demonstrate them. So you're not going to have them die on you. So.
Some of your competitors have had an interesting set of security vulnerabilities exposed. Anything interesting like that on your side?
I'm impressed. I did not expect to get that today, but that's good. Actually, it's been, the last week and a half has been absolutely lovely for me because I am picking up so much business. It's excellent. So to answer your question more specifically, the way that hack and that happened to the other company is very different than what happens at Vasco. So our program, the way our devices happen, you can't steal a database of devices. Well, you can steal like CCPs, but you can't get to the keys. So if you crack one device, you've cracked one device. So you'll have to go back and crack, how many thousand people, 3,000 people we have here today? You have to crack 3,000 devices, which is not an easy job. So, again, what's happening to them is excellent because I'm picking up all that business. So. Anything else? Any other questions I can answer? I'm impressed that I got so many questions. So, well, thank you all for coming, and thank you for having me. Oh, I have hats and T-shirts and all kinds of stuff, so come by and grab some stuff. We'll put it up on the bench here.
Excellent. I'm Monty Sharma. I'm with Vivox. We do eVoice. The whole thing about eVoice is to make it simple, part of the game, high quality, integrated into the whole experience. That's what we focus on. It's what we deliver for 50 million users around the world. Folks, Sony, EA, Nexon, a bunch of other game companies use us, but CCP was the first company to actually integrate voice and our favorite. Don't tell the others I said that, and don't broadcast this anywhere. eVoice has been around for a long time. Last year we talked about the voice font stuff that went in. This year, properly hidden. Next year we're going to do it with kids. That's is voice in Eve Gate. This is the start of adding voice in different ways, or access to voice in different ways for Eve. So if you log into Eve Gate, you can actually get to your corp and your alliance channel. The character I used to pull the screenshot doesn't belong to an alliance, is looking for an alliance, but we can talk about that later. You can join certain channels automatically, and it's actually tied to Eve's core authentication system. So if a player's in a corp, they're allowed to join the corp channel from Eve Gate. As soon as you boot them out of the corp, they get yanked from that access control list, and they won't be able to join. But it lets you, essentially sit in the office at work, log in and listen to what's going on. The initial implementation uses a plugin. We're doing some stuff with Flash and that coming up, so hopefully it becomes easier and better to do. Also, you see there's a live dev blog channel, so CCP's doing some more live dev blogs again. Essentially listen to the devs while you're playing the game, but you can also pick it up on Eve Gate. We'd like to see this extended to a number of other types of channels as time goes on, so you can essentially access any of the in-game channels from wherever you want. Some of the stuff in the future, and won't belabor this too much because don't want to make promises for CCP, but what the hell? Derek said yes. One of the things that we're able to do and we're sorting out now is being able to dial into any of these channels with a phone. So we actually have the ability in 24 countries around the world. Don't ask me to name them. It's several of the countries you're thinking of and a few you aren't. But pick up a phone and actually dial into the channel. We're surprised by how much people want to be sitting in traffic, and instead of listening to talk radio or music, want to hear people complaining in Corp channel. We're bitching about the Alliance. There's also, Vivox has just announced a couple of mobile SDKs, so we've got iPhone now, we're going to be coming out with Android, some other stuff in the works that enables, rolling it into a mobile app, and, maybe it's worth talking to the Evemon guys about giving them the hooks to do it. Happy to do that. There, see? There's an announcement for you. Nothing like making policy from the stage. And then, we've been playing around with some stuff in Facebook, and in some of the titles we work with, it's a good idea. I don't know if it's a good idea for Eve. We'll let you guys decide that thing, but actually being able to reach out to real-world friends and to talk to them and yank them in and things like that. So that's some of the big stuff that we're working on. There's a roundtable tomorrow that, if you want to get into lots of nitty-gritty, we're happy to, talk to you about that as well. Any burning questions? Yep.
I'm probably, unfortunately, speak for a lot of people, and we usually actually use Ventrilo for most of our operations. And one of the reasons why is because it has a lot more controls over the audio that you're getting. For example, one of the things we use is we have a preset corporate compression setting, which really normalizes all the voice, so you don't have problems with people having different hardware sounding at different levels. Is there any chance that eVoice will be having something like that?
It's had it for 8 months, 10 months.
Obviously, I'm not paying attention.
I know. Actually, the dev I blame isn't here, so I won't. We actually need to do a better job in telling the players some of the stuff that goes into eVoice. So we actually spent considerable time and effort and money on automatic gain control, so it automatically normalizes everything. Echo cancellation. The voice activity detector will pick out human voice but not a dog barking, and things like that have really come a long way. So the audio quality today is massively better than it was a year ago.
All right, great, thanks.
And there's more controls. So some of the stuff that, in Eve Gate, and one of the things that my colleague's working on is how do we expose more controls? We've hidden some of the controls we actually have as we try and roll it out in a sensible way with CCP. But your ability to create custom channels and manage them and all of that stuff are things we can absolutely do. Yep.
Okay. You said Flash. Now,
Yes.
Flash is like, for a lot of people I know, have been having huge troubles with it, especially lately, with it crashing and the plugins not working and it failing after a certain amount of time. How do you plan on dealing with that? Like, you're talking to someone one moment and then all of a sudden, Flash plugin crashed.
Yeah. So, damn, it's being broadcast, isn't it? Yeah, HD and level 3's got it bouncing all over the world. So I'm not going to say that Flash sucks, because that would be inappropriate. I will say that Flash does a lot of marvelous things in that you don't need to. So we're going to ask you to install a plugin. And the vast majority of the time, it works just fine. But in 1 or 2% of the cases, you run into some problems. And when you deal with, billions of people, 1 or 2% is a lot of people. So for us, Flash is a way to get to a lower threshold. Like, let's just say for some reason you work for a large corporate entity that doesn't like you putting game clients onto your PC or installing plugins into your browsers. They will let you have Flash. So Flash to us is an accessibility tool. It is not what we go to for quality. So we cannot get a fraction of the quality of eVoice out of Flash. You're absolutely right. Although Flash is a wonderful thing, and God bless them. Damn, it's video. They caught the eye rolling, too.
Cheers. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say the only real issue that people have with eVoice is that it's completely integrated into the client. So if you have the issue,
We're starting, man. We're starting.
Yeah, we're starting. But
4 years later.
We've got the issue that a lot of people don't use it, at least in corporations that I've seen, because if you, for instance, your Eve client crashes, in the middle of a PvP engagement,
This won't crash.
You do have serious issues with it.
Yeah.
But
So, you know, this is, we've been going back and forth with CCP for 4 years about exactly this. And on one hand, CCP says to us in a very good and intelligent way as well, we should fix the client crash. And look, as a player, and as I'm sure you guys have noticed, compared to 4 years ago, client crashes, downtimes, all of that sort of stuff. I mean, operationally, the stuff CCP has done is just mind-numbingly fabulous. But occasionally you still get the occasional crash because you're running on Windows or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with Microsoft. On a separate note, I'm going to be looking for a job after this. Yeah. So, you know, part of the thing and what we're talking about is, so EveGate runs out of your browser. So you can actually run it in parallel. You can be in the Corp channel here. As we expose other channels there, it'll actually run in parallel, but all of the game controls, logic, and security is all controlled by the game. So your client can crash and you can be okay, and that's absolutely where we're headed.
okay, brilliant.
All right. What, time enough to slag one more major corporation?
Hopefully we'll be safe with this one. So right now with Vent and TS3, some of the best things you can do are set up moderators and then set up channels. I know you can do this in TS3 a bit easier than Vent, but where you key it up so only people with certain permissions level can hear it. So for instance, fleet commanders can only hear certain things, then you broadcast to the general. If you do that with integrated with eVoice, I mean, are you going to have corporate roles like that? And then when you get up to Alliance chat, how are you going to handle mods across corps?
So we have all of those roles and capabilities. You know, the question is how to expose them, and it's a two-part problem when you start going out of game, because we can expose it fairly easily in a browser, but how much dev time do we want to devote in-game to setting up some of those controls? So I think what you'll see is some of that stuff phased in over time where, you know, starts off, you can control channels, you can add people to them, you can add roles. If you've got ideas, swing by the round table or send them to us, or send them to CCP, and we watch the forums on that stuff. And we're looking for ways to get better design, because the whole thing, you know, when we started this, one of the big things was somebody saying to us, look, it takes us an hour and a half to set up the fleet to get everybody in the right channel and all that stuff, and that's a pain in the neck. The point of integrating and the point of getting this stuff all working the way you want it to is, if you want to have a fleet, everybody should get into the right channel based on the squadron or role that they have in the fleet, and you should just go blow shit up. But if you've got to be an IT manager, that's not playing a game. So you should be screwing people over, not managing computers. All right, we good? Excellent, thank you. Last question, all right.
Okay, you've got a sort of browser app. Any chance of a sort of standalone app?
Yeah, it could be. We don't do UI well. I mean, the way I say is, you know, I can barely manage to dress myself in the mornings. You don't want guys like us doing UI. We do it with a partner who has a decent UI and wants to do that. So there's certainly possibility around there. We've talked to some folks, and I think that's where you'll see on the mobile app side and things like that. Converting it to being a desktop app is easy enough. It's just somebody has to own and manage the UI. All right, thank you very much, guys.
Hey, my name's Phil Scott. I'm sure I recognize a few faces from around the crowd. I've done Fanfest 5 times now. I'm from a little Californian company called NVIDIA. That's NVIDIA, not NVIDIA, like some people call it. And all I have to say is every time it's like, yeah, it's Fanfest, it's like, yes, Iceland, right? It's a real pleasure and honor to hang out with the CCP guys. It's a real pleasure and honor to partner with them. And it's a real pleasure and honor to provide you guys with the best graphics we possibly can. And over the last few years, it sort of all started by me going, hey, can I go to Iceland, to my boss? And he's like, WTF, right? So, and it was like, yeah, there's these guys that make this space game, and there's like more than the population of the country where it's made, play it, and you know, all the crazy, amazing stats. And it was like, yeah, I think we can do some pretty cool stuff. Look at these graphics. And they were like, cool. so marching on came suitcase with a huge-ass power supply and a video card, right? And that video card was what became known as the GeForce 8800. The CCP guys had about the third one we ever made off the presses. And it was so hot that it actually used to dial home, right? So to make sure that it never leaked, and it wasn't that we didn't trust the CCP guys, but all the early cards actually dialed home. And it was like, yeah, they're doing some work on it, cool. it's dialing home again. So anyway, a lot of the advances that you saw when things moved to Trinity were because we got them hardware nice and early. A couple of Fanfests ago, we sort of told this whole story where we found it in a spaceship in Roswell, and there was a whole conspiracy theory around it. But where we're going with this is the fact that NVIDIA actually isn't just a GPU company. We like to solve problems, right? Some pretty hard problems. Drawing graphics fast is a pretty damn hard problem. Drawing pretty graphics, right? That's where CCP come in, right? We draw graphics fast. Now, on top of that, we've been doing, and I don't want to spoil the show for some of the other guys because there's more than just me here this time. We've got some pretty interesting and amazing announcements that are going to be made throughout the whole sort of sequence of Fanfest. I've just come from the CCP office where we're just putting the finishing touches to something that we were sort of playing around with in the pub last night, which is sort of how you've got to roll with these guys. But we were sort of playing around with it, and it was like, hey, what do you think of this? And there was like a swarm of people came around it, right? And it was one of those things where it was like, people are just like, hey, what's going on there? And it's like the population of Iceland start drifting across to the pub wondering what it is. And we're playing around with this thing, and that's something that you'll see over the next couple of days. But what we've done is we've moved from being just a pusher of polygons to doing some amazing stuff. So one of the things that we've done in the new character creator, which I'm sure everybody thinks is really cool, is that right? Right? Is it not the best character creator on the planet? Right? Well, one of the things that we've done is we've provided a whole ton of clothing technology, right? So you'll be able to play with your characters, and they'll have properly simulated clothes. So you got lovely long trench coats and all that sort of thing. And it's to make the characters feel real, right? Because this character is you, right? This is your representation, right? You aren't just a spaceship anymore, or if you're crap at the game like me, you're not just a pod anymore, right? And it's one of those things where, this is you in the EVE universe, right? Because the EVE universe is growing, right? It's an ever-expanding thing, just like the real universe. It is the real universe. But where it is this is one of the things we're doing, and that runs on the GPU, right? So the GPU's repurposed for other things, right? And there's a whole bunch of other stuff. There's going to be some cool stuff on the character creation side. There's going to be some cool stuff with the avatars. There's also a few nice little surprises up the sleeves. But watch out for some of the NVIDIA guys. I think there's 7 of us here. 7 of us had a pretty cool time yesterday. I'm sure some of the tales will come out. But it's one of those things where it's Fanfest. It's great. I hope everybody has a great time. I don't want to spoil the surprises for some of the other guys because one of them's my boss, and I'll probably get fired if I spoil his surprise. So enjoy. Look forward to what you're going to see. It's going to be fantastic, and we're really proud to be here. So. Any questions? Yeah.
Are we going to get tattoos back? I mean, particularly with the Mimitar and Seb yesterday, it's quite noticeable the lack of them these days.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Are we going to get tattoos back? Facial tattoos more than anything.
That's something that's more logistical for the CCP guys to do. I mean, the GPU can render them, that's for sure. Lots of them, plenty ink.
Not so much a question, just a thank you to NVIDIA in general, actually, for supporting Linux.
No, we like to support Linux. Linux is good. We make all our GPUs on Linux, so we best support it. Any others?
On my computer at home, I'm running the two graphics cards in SLI.
Yeah.
I know they run on 16 gains, but if you have a third one added to it, it says that it drops the second channel down to 8 gain. So is actually any real markup in having 3 cards over 2?
There is, when you use 3 GPUs, I mean, there is benefits there. There's a lot more computational horsepower there. But the applications themselves need to be aware that there's 3 GPUs. What you don't want to be doing is syncing stuff between lots and lots of GPUs all the time, because you end up playing this chase your tail situation with, like, say, if you've got a blur effect or something. So it's a case of, let's say, if it slows down Eve, I mean, it's certainly something that we want to fix, and I'm sure CCP will be hot to fix it too. But making sure, like, say, one of the things that we can do, say there's a bunch of characters, not that I'm giving anything away, but say there's a bunch of characters walking around and they're all fully clothed, and I'm getting very close to that line here, but with, say, all with trench coats or whatever, that third GPU could quite happily be sitting there running all the simulations for the clothing, leaving 2 GPUs to render the graphics really, really fast. So there's interesting use to reuse the affinity of the GPUs. They don't necessarily all have to be drawing polygons, right? One of them can be computing stuff in the background. They are effectively core processors. So that's really one of the better ways to support 3 GPUs. Is that it? I haven't offended any corporate bodies. Oh, there's one over here.
Say I have an older NVIDIA card, or maybe, like in my case, hate me or what, because I have an ATI, but...
You wouldn't do anything as daft as that, though.
The whole PhysX thing, if I know in some games, if I don't have a PhysX-enabled card, my game will run extremely slow. Like, if I turn PhysX effects on in, like, Mirror's Edge, for example, it just kills my frame rate. Is that going to be an issue in the whole walk-in stations?
There's sort of a little bit of, like, hearsay sort of thing around this. PhysX runs perfectly well on a CPU, right? It runs really, really well on a CPU. What we do with, say, PhysX effects is that's the stuff that we can run on the GPU as well, right? So you get a perfectly good experience with PhysX. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, just as a point in case, PhysX is in lots and lots of major console games, right? They don't have necessarily NVIDIA GPUs and they run just fine. What we do is we work on specific titles to enable more effects that you couldn't really have done in any other way. So if say you've got a competitor hardware, not that you do anything as daft as that, but if you've got competitor hardware, you get a perfectly good game experience. You just don't get as good an experience as you would have done with NVIDIA. And that's sort of that's our whole purpose of being in the group that I'm in, is to make sure that people do really cool stuff with our hardware. And if we can do something the competition can't do, that's great. Right? As far as we're concerned, that's great. And of the, I'm sure Nicola can sort of give a little bit more information on this, but of the Eve player base, the vast proportion runs on NVIDIA hardware. So, of the minority, I'm sure there's going to be interesting ways for people to upgrade in the very near future. So, I hope that answers your question. Any others? I've got no monkeys. Sorry, I've got no monkeys. GPU. No, if you get caught with a GPU in the head, we get sued. They aren't particularly crash resistant either, it has to be said. Is that it? Cool, thanks very much.
Okay, welcome to Fanfest. Can we please stop monkeying around? I'm the manager for IBM in Iceland, and do technical pre-sales and system design. and performance research on or troubleshooting. I'm going to be very brief. I think it's amazing that a gaming company like CCP uses IBM, because you probably know IBM is not the cheapest stuff around. It's really high-end, and it's all about uptime and performance and excellent services. And they're all black, which is very important for Hilmar. Oops. No, I mean, who wants white servers with pink handles? I mean, they looks like girly stuff, right? So IBM has been around. I think we are 100 years old this year. Been making badass servers for 50 years. So as somebody said, IBM is the single most holder of intellectual property in the known universe. And a lot of this goes into making very, very good servers. Now, an overview of the EVE hardware is there's a proxy layer, and there are the SOL servers, and those are all running blades. We have to think about more than performance. We have to think about uptime. We have to think about energy use, space efficiency, because this is hosted in London. And then for the SQL servers, we have really, really big machines, which we like to call bricks. There's a constant rip and replace every 2 years. I've been working with CCPs for 8 years, and I would like to say it's not the relationship between IBM and CCP is not too much of a business relationship, more like a love-hate relationship without the hate. So it's all love. Well, what is blade? Some say a picture can say more than 1,000 words, and in this case, that's true. The architecture is what I like to call chainsaw resistant, because we could literally put a chainsaw through the system, mash half of it with a sledgehammer, and it would still keep running. This is why, if there's an outage in the game, it's not the servers. It's either the networking or the software, right? It's never, never the servers. The current blade servers are 3.3 wolf tails. They've actually been very, very successful. They solved a lot of problems performance-wise. And it's only now that we're getting new processors that can match and outdo these babies. So the next generation, we don't know what that's going to be exactly, but we're starting to test some Westmere's 3.2. That's the fastest one you can get within a 95-watt envelope. And that's going to be used for caching in the proxy layer to begin with. And then we're going to try to get a Sandy Bridge test system as soon as possible. But those aren't being manufactured yet, so it might be in Q3. But I'm hopeful we will get a very early version of it. When the Nehalem came out, I got a list of 10 companies which were the first in the world to test out Nehalem blades. And that was BMW, Citibank, and CCP, you know, those kind of companies. It's a nice group to be in. The new cluster, it's awesome, for a lack of a better word. You have to see Derek at 1 o'clock. He's going to tell us all about it. It's right here, I think, in this room. Yeah. So thank you. Any questions? You want to scream or get a mic? This is a race. What? What? Repeat the question. Yeah. One of our blades caught fire, and this is a race. We're trying to build fireproof servers, and CCP tries to burn them. And most of the time we win, but this time CCP won. Yeah.
Tranquility is the biggest supercomputer in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
So, where do you get all the hamsters from?
They're in a secret underground layer. So secret, only a few know about it. And they got the Coca-Cola recipe. It's that secret. Yeah, one more question, please. Okay, but I'll be around if you have more questions. There's a blade server if you want to take a look on the way out, just if you haven't seen one. Please don't set it on fire. Thank you.
I'm Dennis from Shattered Crystal, and we do the best we can to help support you guys in the game. And we have a new project called Support Your Corp, and just come by the booth and I'll tell you all about it because they want me to cut this really short. So I'll give you a T-shirt and talk to you about it. And basically, just a quick overview. For all you guys, you have to click the link to get your affiliate stuff that's passed. So come and ask me questions about it. Thank you.